All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And this is just going to be a lesson going into how the day of the Lord does not belong to the mighty man, right? The day of the Lord does not belong to the mighty man, because you've got some people out here that they think preparing carnally for the day of the Lord, right, is going to allow them to escape an extremely evil time that's going to come up on the earth, man. And you got some people that they think their training program's going to get them sorted out. When they size themselves up against the standard man walking down the street, they might think, yeah, I could beat him up, and I could beat him up, I could beat him up. They might see a group of friends walking by themselves, walking together, and might be like, yeah, I'm by myself, but I think I could beat all of them up by myself, right? And they might be telling the truth in regard to that, right? Or they might just be delusional and making a way higher estimation of their physical strength than it actually is. But then here's the thing: even in combat sports, man, even in combat sports, those professional fighters, the professionals that are potentially probably taking performance enhancing drugs, they have a minute's rest between rounds. And you tell me, do they normally look? When you see them, do they normally look tired? In the UFC, they have a 5 minute round, they have a 1 minute rest. Do they normally look tired in that 1 minute rest? Because I think that they damn sure do, right? But when the day of the Lord breaks out, that let's say that professional fighter was fighting for 5 minutes. Well, a fight in the day of the Lord, hand to hand combat, would not be to win on points or to win by knockout and then the fight's over. It's going to be going all the way, right? That kind of fight's going to be going all the way. So the level of adrenaline is higher, right? For example, in boxing, right, you might spar to the body, right? You might spar to the body. When you spar to the body, people just naturally don't even protect their head when they know it's going to be body sparring most of the time, right? But then there might be a time when you do spar to the head, but you spar to the head against somebody else with a head guard on. So you both got head guards. Now you're going to spar differently than you would if you didn't have the head guards off. And then now there's a time when you spar with the head guards off, and you'll notice that that your defenses are just naturally more fast, right? Your reaction times increased, man. Everything's faster, everything's more intense, but it's still sparring though. Then there comes a time when you do it in the ring for real with the crowd and everyone, and it's completely different to all the sparring that you might have did in the ring without a crowd. Then there'll be a time when you're fighting on the street. If there comes a time when you fought on the street, that's completely different, man. A street fight is completely different to a boxing match, man. Because everything counts in that kind of fight. Everything counts, man. But there's pedestrians, civilians, all kind of different people going around, people screaming. There's all kind of different variables where anyone around could know the person that you're fighting with and join in. So if you're a guy that you think because you're tough, you're gonna escape the dead Lord, you're mistaken, man. Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and the serpent bit him. Shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? Now, if we go to verse 19, right, and it says, if a man did flee from a lion, let's just say you fought a real tough guy. You fought a real tough man, right? And his strength is like comparable. If you was to compare it, you'd be thinking, man, that guy was a lion, man. That was a real warrior. And you escape that fight, you win, or escape with your life. And then you stumble upon a guy with that fights like a bear's level strength, right? That's already tough as it is. But then now you come across a guy that fights like a serpent. So he might give you a drink of water, but he's poisoned, right? That's the day of the Lord, man. Like, you know how impossible it is to think you're going to escape through this time through your might? Like, I'm a person that's liked going to the gym and enjoys the physical fitness thing, right? But everyone I would personally say that every brother that believes in Yahweh Shem Shai, that enjoys the personal training, personal fitness thing, whatever, the health and fitness thing, the walking, the running, the bicycle rides, the leg press, the sledge, right, the MMA, the boxing, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all of those different things that people would be into, right? kickboxing, Muay Thai, all that kind of stuff that people would be into that are into fitness. You're not as strong. You're not the top of it. So if that was what mattered, right? Well, then the people that are the professionals, they're gonna be better than you. They've got more chance of getting on a chariot than you. Then, but is that the case? No, it's not. That's not the case, man. The day of the Lord belongs to the men that have faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. It don't belong to no carnal, like fighting mans. They don't belong to you because because Yahweh made you taller than other people. Which to be tall is obviously better than to be short. Like if you say it's not, you're just being delusional, right? To be tall is obviously better than being average height. To be tall is obviously better than being just above average height, right? Obviously. And how do we know this? Because Yahweh Shai is tall, right? Let's get it. Yahweh Shai is tall, right? The scriptures speak about Yahweh Shai being tall in the book of Esdras, does it not? If I'm not mistaken. Man, I'm testing my skills trying to find this one. I ain't seen this one in ages. I don't even remember exactly. I do not even remember exactly what it says, man. Damn. If I can't find it, I'll put it in the comment board. The last bit I remember it saying is them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. I cannot remember where that. I cannot think of for the life of me where that is. But it goes into how Yahweh Shai is tall in the book of Esdras, man. I'll have to find that afterwards, man. I cannot remember where that is at all. I want to say it's in the 4th chapter, but where it goes into then I stood. So who's that? There was a man that was a foot higher than higher than the rest of them. Then stood I. So then I started to really reverence those that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Why can I not remember where it says that, man? Why can I not? What the hell, man? Where is that? Hey, Salakia, how about Shem Shai? I'll put it in the. I'll try and make sure, Lord willing, man, that I put it in the description box. But here's another thing that we can go into, like when it comes to physical things as well. To be dark skinned, extremely dark skinned, obviously must be the highest when it comes to in terms of skin color too. It must be. Right now, you're not no less of an Israelite if you're light skinned brown or whatever, if you're middle range brown or whatever. But to be dark skinned must be the highest, because why is Yahweh Shai dark skinned then? Why would Yahweh Shai be considered a dark skinned so called black man? That obviously must be the highest level of skin color to have, right? That must be the best. It must be. Like people can say, "Oh, nah, ain't you're just." Well, I think it must be, because otherwise, why wouldn't Yahweh Shai get the best characteristics? So he's taller than every other Israelite when he's putting the crowns on their heads, right? He's gonna be taller than every other Israelite when he's putting the crowns on their heads, and he's gonna be Man, I'm really getting annoyed that I can't find that scripture. You know, it's really bothering me, man. Hey, so what the hell by Shem Shai? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse 42. And I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Zion a great people who I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest. So to be tall is obviously better than to be short, right? When we were just talking purely on physical things, to be tall is better, right? Any brother any man right now, if Yahweh said, you're still going to be of the elect, but I'll make you a foot taller, why would they not say yes? Like, it's not going to make anything else change for them for the worse. Just like how if Yahweh was to come to any man and say, in a dream, he was to say, come to any man and say, oh, you're still going to be of the elect, you're still going to get beamed up in the chariots. I'm going to give you 10 women that are 10 out of 10, and they're not gonna get on your nerves once from now to the kingdom. And I'm also gonna give you enough money to be able to sustain every single one of those wives. And you're still gonna get beamed up in the chariots, and you're not gonna take the MOTB. You're still gonna be of the elect. What man's gonna say no to that? So to be rich is obviously better than to be poor, right? But if you don't have faith, none of those things matter. So if you're a man that's got some physical might and you've also got faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, then that's okay. But don't ever think that the physical might is going to be what's the reason why your faith matters. The physical strength is something external. Yahweh might give you the physical strength because he wants you to save a woman of the elect in the future, or a brother of the elect in the future, man. To be a defense for your own people of the elect of the nation Israel. That might be the reason why Yahweh gave you some kind of physical strength. But the same physical strength that he's gave you, he could give to a man that doesn't have no physical strength right now, man. When it comes to fighting, right? And this kind of sounds a bit cliche, right? But when it comes to fighting, the inside man matters too, you know. If you can make another man doubt fighting you in the first place, that can make the fight not even happen. Because he's got doubt in his mind. He's like, nah, I think this guy's prepared to take it somewhere that I ain't prepared to take it, man. I think if I fight this guy, it's gonna get messy real quick, and it's gonna just make him doubt even bothering trying to fight, man. Verse 43 again, and in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and have put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of God. Now they are crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is that crowneth them? So Yahushua is not going to look old and frail. He's going to look like a young man in his strength. Right? What young person is that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of Yahweh, who they have confessed in the world. Then began I to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh, for the name of the Lord. Right? So to be taller, Yahushua is tall. It clearly said it. There's people that right now that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. If you see him in real life, you'll be like, "Raw, that geezer's tall," you know. You'll be like, "Oh, that geezer's tall." If you just see them, when you see them standing next to other people, you're like, "Yeah, he's taller." You can see clearly, he's taller than them. You can see it. But Yahushua is taller than that, though. Right? There's many Israelites that are tall as hell in this world. 7'4", right? 7'8", all kind of crazy heights, man. Literally 2 foot taller than the average height man in the UK there might be. Right? Dwarfing men and even further dwarfing women. When they walk down the street, you got all these women playing with their hair, twisting and twiddling their hair because the guy's just tall. So it makes you get gassed up, man. Like the same way how a woman walks down the street and she's just having people worshipping her, man. Just, oh wow. Like she can't even go a day without getting someone trying it. If she dresses down, she's still pretty. I'm on about one of those. I mean, even when she tries to not be attractive, she's still attractive. It would make you get gassed up. Just the same thing with the mighty man. When he walked down the street, everyone's always moving out of the way. People don't want to try it. People are just overly being nice to him because they're scared. But that's not what's going to make you win the day of the Lord, man. That don't mean nothing really. Right? What did Yahweh say? Is it Samuel? 2 Samuel 17, I want to say it is, man. I ain't read this scripture for ages, man. If it even is there. And where is that? Is it Samuel 12? Boy. Again, another one that I can't find, man. Okay, here we go. This is 1 Samuel chapter, and this is why it's important, yeah. You see all the highlighting of your Bible and all that stuff like that, yeah. This is why it's important to do it, man, because we don't need to have no photographic memory. But we need to just be able to go through the sword of the word and be able to know which part of the sword to cut someone with, man. Right? That's all we need to be able to do. We don't need no photographic memory, man. But anyway, 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 6. 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 6. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely Yahweh's anointed is before him. Right? Because he saw Eliab and he was like, man, this guy, look at this guy there. Like Eliab, yeah. Eliab looked like a king. Right? When you looked at Eliab, you would have been like, yeah, this is what a king, like a picture of what a king looks like, what a person would think a so-called black man being a king would look like. Just picture the tribe of Judah, man. Just picture all the Jakes that are in the tribe of Judah, right? And how they henched off, right? Like all these NFL players, all these basketball players, right? Just picture, try and combine, right? The average stature of a basketball player and the average stature of an NFL player and the average like fighting spirit of a boxer and an MMA fighter, right? And combine that all together. So picture John Jones fighting skills, right? Mixed with his brother's physical strength and with the height of a basketball player. That's the kind of man that Eliab would have been. That's the kind of thing you need to picture in your mind to think, man, what kind of man did Eliab look like? Right? A henched off, more than likely handsome, so-called black man. Right? But guess what though? He weren't the anointed though. He weren't it. Just the same thing when it comes to Absalom. Absalom nowadays, if Absalom was alive now walking on the earth, which he very well could be, he's going to be one of them guys that's a player and woman's going to love him. And he's also going to have a whole bunch of men that get along with him and want to be his friend because he was able to woo the crowd, man. He was a extrovert, you know. But he was a demon though. And when it came to fighting though, he knew that he didn't want no parts of fighting. And even his advisor would be like, listen, man, don't try and come up against your father with no fighting thing. Because your father's a man of war. So don't try no fighting thing with him. Because we're finna die if that comes to pass. Right? He already knew not to try and take it to that realm. That would be the kind of person that Absalom would be like too. A guy that's handsome, tall, probably more than likely, but when it comes to the fighting, he wouldn't try to take it there. But it's not even about that either. The day of the Lord doesn't belong to the mighty man, doesn't belong to the pretty boy, doesn't belong to the baddie. It belongs to the men, women, and children that have faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and more so, it belongs to Yahweh, and it belongs to Yahweh Shai. Because that's the day that Yahweh is going to get praise in the world. Like, you have to really think about how heavy the day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh is going to be. It's a day that's going to be so extreme that from that point forth, Yahweh is going to never bring anything like that ever again on the earth. He already brought the flood, and we still talk about that now. But after he brings what he's about to bring in this time, right? No other time, like there's not going to be no third day of the Lord. There's not going to be no third death. There's a second death, which is the ICBMs, the lake of fire. But there's not going to be no third death where he's like, okay, I'm not going to bring death upon the earth like this again. I'm going to bring a dual rainbow. And then now, I'm not going to bring death like this on the earth again, but I'm going to bring it with wind instead of water and instead of fire. I'm going to bring the next one with wind. No, that's not going to happen. So how extreme is this day going to be? What kind of things are we going to see happen on this earth, man? And you think your bicep curls are going to do anything. Now, that's not to say don't train. Don't do mobility training. Don't stretch. Don't go for a walk. Don't go for a jog. Don't do your squats. Don't do your deadlifts. Don't do your push-ups. Right? Don't do your clap push-ups, knuckle push-ups, fireman's carry, yoke, whatever training you do, right? Gardening, whatever thing, chopping wood, whatever you might do, man. Right? Whatever training you might do, whatever thing you do to make your mind right physically. That's not to say that we're not supposed to do that, but this is really a thing that when you think about the people in the world, man, like their stature gets them gassed up, man. Their stature gets them gassed because it leads to people like even just us as brothers in time where we might have went to the gym and trained, right? People treat you differently, man. Once that body fat percentage starts getting to around 15%, right? And then starts teetering closer to 10%. And if your clothes start fitting you right, the way how people treat you is different, man. The way how women treat you is different. Same thing with how if people perceive, not even if you really have, if people perceive that you have money, if people think you've got money, they treat you differently. Now, what's some of the ways they might think you've got money? Because you got a car. You got a car that looks nice, and now they think you're rich, and they're gonna treat you different. Or if you're wise, you look like you got you've got a degree, and now people just think that you're smart, or you look like you're smart, you dress like you're smart. Like wear a suit, man. Everyone, every Jake, all of you brothers out there, every brother, even apostle, elder, everyone has probably got a suit somewhere with the dust collecting in their in their wardrobe, man. Everyone, right? A suit, right? Black, navy blue, grey, whatever, right? And a white shirt, yeah, and then pointy ass Pinocchio shoes, the Mel Gibsons, yeah. Everyone's got a pair of those dangling about somewhere when they had to go to a job interview or something like that. Everyone's got a pair of those. If you knock the dust off of that and put that on, people are gonna treat you different, man. The last time I was in some clothes like that, people was treating me differently. When you wear that blazer, people treat you differently because that's the look of wisdom in this world. But that don't make you wise, or you can be a complete demon wearing that. In fact, most of the people that dress like that are the biggest demons on the earth. Esau, wicked as all hell. But Yahweh don't look on the outward, man. Because if he did, most of the people that have been picked right now, and this is no offense, because this would include the majority, man, would not be chosen. He would have chose the biggest and highest stature people. He would have chose mainly people from the NBA, NFL, right? Most of the heavyweight fighters. He would have chose them. He might not even chosen some of the lower weight division fighters, man. Verse 6, and it came to pass when they were come, that he looked on Eliab and said, surely Yahweh's anointed is before him. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. And there's a movie, man. It's a pretty good movie. It's a comedy. The movie's called Shallow Hal, right? The movie's called Shallow Hal. And I believe it's Jack Black in the movie, right? Jack Black, right? And in the movie, he just keeps always lusting after all the women that are fine as hell, right? Lusting after the women that are pretty or whatever, right? And then he goes to a hypnotist, and the hypnotist does something to him to where now he doesn't see the woman's physical attraction, he sees the woman's spirit. He no longer sees the woman's physical, man. Right? He sees what they look like inwardly, right? And there's a woman that's fat as hell in the movie, right? But when he sees her all the time, he just views her like, man, she's beautiful because he was looking at her inward, right? And that's a good movie that kind of shows what that would be like, man, to see the inward. And then his female neighbor that he was always kept lusting after in the movie, when he sees her looking ugly, right? He sees her and she just looks ugly. She's got like weird all kind of pimples on her nose. She's skinny, anorexic. Her nose is longer. Her hair is nasty and all that. She doesn't look good, right? That's a real good movie, man. To try and get that concept of how Yahweh doesn't see how men see it, man. Even the movie Jacob's Ladder, which that one famous scene in there, man, where the woman's dancing in the nightclub, man, and you just see all kind of little tentacles rolling around her pelvis and all that, groping her. And it's like the guy ends up seeing that the woman's a demon. That he ends up seeing all the spirits on the people that are at the nightclub, man. But he just starts seeing their faces morph, and to a certain degree, brothers that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, people that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai in general, man, they start to look at people that outwardly look good, and be like, yeah, but that person's wicked, man. Like they might walk in the street and they see a woman that they might think, oh yeah, that woman's pretty, but then they'll just see her do something and they'll be like, yeah, but she's a demon. Or you'll see Jake that are strong in stature and that, and you'll be like, yeah, but this guy looks like a proud, adulterous demon, man. Like you'll just see things about them and you'll be like, this person's off. Or you'll see people that are proud because they think they know something and you'll be like, yeah, but what do you even actually really know? You think you know all of this and you think you know all of that, but what do you actually really know in the grand scheme of things, man? When all hell breaks loose in this society, are you going to have the answers? Like the red pill thing, they can tell you the ins and outs of what to do, build up your life. You got a 10-year plan. Otherwise, these women are going to overlap you, dog. They can tell you that. And if this society was to carry on, okay, they might be right. But the trajectory of how this society is going, well, I mean like this. If this society was to carry on how it is now, they'd be right. But this society is not going to carry on how it is now. In the next 10 years, one of two things is gonna have happened, man. Right? All the prophecies of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai are gonna have came to pass, and we're gonna be a couple of years into the kingdom by then, in 10 years, or the Bible ain't real, right? And Esau is just MOTB'd everyone, and everyone's got a micro CHIP in their body, and they're just some zombie drones. Everyone's got a social credit score. I know which thing I want to happen is, right? In the next 10 years, man, like don't in the next 10 years, we should be a couple of years into the kingdom by then, man. Really, right? All the prophecies should have came to pass. Yahweh Shai should have came back, or Esau's gonna have already gone through with his plan to MOTB people, man. That's one of two things gonna happen in the next 10 years. We're gonna all the prophecies that we're waiting for, the day Lord's gonna have came already, and we're gonna be a couple of years into the kingdom, a good few couple of years in the kingdom, man. Or everyone's just gonna be through, and Esau will have won. If we was to go based on the trajectory of what you red pill mans want to try and talk about, man. Like the red pill thing and some of the talking points within it are decent things, and they're good things to say. Like it's a good thing for a man's mind to be opened towards women, but the Bible makes a man's mind be open towards women way before that. If you listen to the things that it says in the Bible, them red pill men, right? They'll sleep with another man's wife real quick. Them red pill men don't think sleeping with another man's wife dishonors them. They don't view the spiritual judgment that they're going to receive for doing that. They think they'd view that wives wanting to sleep with them is a sign of their red pillism, right? They got the ism now, the ism and they'd view that, yeah, that's the sign I've made it as a player, because men's wives want to sleep with me now. They wouldn't view it as man. That woman thinks that you're the kind of man that would be an adulterer, and she's picking your wicked ass so that she can be wicked, and now she's leading you to hell. Right? But let's carry on this, man, because I think it's a good topic anyway. Right? Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom. Don't get gassed up because you know something. Don't get gassed up because you read a book or two and you can quote some statistics, right? And you can quote a few laws of this system, right? Don't get gassed up too much, man. I remember a video before where Apostle Ricard was saying, don't get too swagged up, man. He was warning everyone that believes in Yahweh Shemel, try not to get too swagged up and too gassed up off themselves, man. Because it's easy to get gassed up in yourself in general in this world, man. You get one week, just get 1 week of everything going smooth. Get 2 weeks of everything going smooth. A month, oh man. The pride levels are going to be real high. Get a few women looking at you, oh, he's handsome. You're going to bug out. You could bug out, man. Verse 23 again, Salakia. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth, for indeed shall I delight, saith Yahweh. Now, does a mighty man know that? Does a mighty man know that Yahweh exercises love and kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth? Does a man that glorifies in his money know that? Does a man that glorifies in his wisdom know that? He knows all these things, he's so wise, but you don't know that Yahweh exercises love and kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. Right? So Yahweh decided to show love to the elect, even though he put us through hell, if we're of those people. But whoever the elect are, and the whole nation of Israel in general, are going to all receive loving kindness, right? But they're also going to receive judgment, man. Jacob's trouble. And Yahweh is going to bring righteousness in the earth when he makes his chosen nation be the mirror of what he's supposed to look like. So that when every time a nation looks at us, they're like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be like. And you know what's so mad about this, right? Is that even if you got this demon Volker Malone saying we ain't the Israelites, right? All the people that he's saying are not Israelites right now, even if we actually were not the Israelites, right? Which is not true, because we are the Israelites. It just matters whether they are of the elect or not. Even if we were not of the elect, I mean, even if we were not Israelites in general, right? we would still actually want this day to come, because we'd rather live in a righteous society, even though we're not the Israelites. That's how you know that we're the Israelites, right? Because even if we weren't the Israelites, we'd still want the society. We'd still want to live in a society where the Israelites are ruling. That's how you know we're the Israelites. Where can Volker Malone say that? That he'd want to live in a society where the Israelites are ruling, and they've got the laws in them perfectly, but they have to now, as a so-called Gentile, not have them in them perfectly, but they're still the law of the land. I would rather still right now, even if I wasn't an Israelite, live in a society where the Israelites are ruling, and I'm a Gentile, right? And the Israelites are ruling over the earth, and their laws are what governs the earth. Because I'd still know then that righteousness is going to govern the earth. That's how I know I'm an Israelite. That's one of the reasons how I know I'm not no heathen, man. Because we'd still want it. And the reason why we desire that and we want that is because we're going to be the ones doing it, man. That's why we got that zeal like that, because we're the ones, like we're the only ones one in the world where we live by Yahweh's laws. Nobody else wants that. Not who else? Who else out there wants that kind of world, man? Who else? Where are they at? Where are these people at that want a world that's governed by Yahweh's laws? Where are they? The mighty men don't. The mighty men want a world where their gym memberships unlimited. Do you know what I mean? Where the 22-inch biceps, where 22-inch biceps is the be all and end all, right? And if you can't bench 315, right? If you can't bench 315 and squat 180, what is the squat? If you can't bench 315, squat 400, and deadlift 500, then you ain't nothing. If you ain't in 1,000-pound club, you ain't no real man. If you can't do 50 push-ups in a row, you ain't no real man, right? That's what the mighty man wants the world to be based on, right? That's what they want it to be on. How many people can you fight? What's your fight record and all that? That's what they want it to be based on. Then when it comes to the mighty man thing, there's so many different categories of that. It's ridiculous because boxers are mighty men, but boxers don't even fight using kicks, right? So if the best boxer has a fight with the best kickboxer, okay, if the boxer punches the kickboxer in the face, okay, he's gonna hurt him and do a lot of damage. But his legs have never been trained in his whole life to take and receive a kick or to give one. So let him get kicked in his leg, he's gonna think he got smashed in the leg with a baseball bat. That's gonna change his whole world. But then both of them guys don't really grapple. So then if that guy fights a grappler, well then now what? But you've also got the guys that are mighty men that use weapons. Them Filipinos that be doing that crazy stuff with the knives. Right? There's too many different layers of being then there's mighty men that use guns. Right? But then there's mighty men that use different types of guns. Then there's mighty men that own and are in charge of armies. So when it comes to the mighty man thing, there's way too many layers for you to get gassed up, man. The ultimate form of the mighty man thing, which really it's not even a mighty man thing, but I'll apply it to it, is the ICBMs. But really, the ICBMs is not really a mighty man thing, and I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna go to why I'm saying it anyway. I don't really think it's a mighty man thing, but it kind of is still in the same realm, right? Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5, for every battle of the warrior, he with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Now, this is the kind of battlefield where being a physical mighty man matters the most. Your physical stats. But then even still, whether Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai wants you to win is what matters most. The proof of that is King David versus Goliath. Right? Yahweh wanted Goliath to lose, so therefore he lost. Verse 5 again, for every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolling blood. Just go on, if you don't know what that looks like, just go on YouTube and type in Game of Thrones battle scenes, and there's one heavy battle scene, man, where like the character Jon Snow, he gets their army gets swamped in, like they get surrounded by the other army, and they like in mud, and they're all slipping and sliding on the mud. They can't even get out. I might watch it after this video. They can't even get out of the mud. They're all dropping over, right? They can't even get out, and they can't breathe neither because they're being like suffocated by how many people are around them. But then they find a way out, and they just like it just screams, "Rah!" Like just blocking one shot, attacking with the sword, using the sword as a weapon. You know, cutting a man's toe off, cutting a man's foot up, all kind of stuff, man. Right? That's where being a physical mighty man would matter the most. But even still, yeah, we as Israelites had the best of that. And did we not get taken down in ancient Israel by the Babylonians? What kind of mighty men do you think would have been behind those gates inside Israel? What kind of men was in there? But when they'd been starved for starved for a year and a half, roughly it was, right? How strong are you then? That muscular body and all that might they have is going to look a hell of a lot different when you've been on years of a calorie deficit, isn't it? It's going to look a hell of a lot different, man. Verse 5, for every battle of the war is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So does might really matter anymore? No. So don't start thinking that the day of the Lord belongs to the mighty man, because it doesn't. Right? The day of the Lord does not belong to the mighty man. Yahweh never chose the mighty man for the day of the Lord. Right? Now, some men, like I said before, some of them are going to be, right? First Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 25, because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise after the flesh. So some men are going to be wise, not many mighty after the flesh. Some men are going to be mighty, not many noble are called. But God have chosen the foolish things of the world. So according to the world, the people that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, most of them look foolish. Not because they actually are foolish, just according to the world, they're foolish. According to this current society, they're foolish. Right? They don't have the ultimate worldly appearance, man. They don't have it. Right? For you see, verse 27, but God have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God have chosen the weak of the world to confound the things that are mighty. So the mighty men of this world would end up looking stupid if they came up against the men that Yahweh has chosen to have the message that he's got for this world. The message of judgment that this world is going to receive, that have been being forewarned about it for years. Right? Them mighty men would be cut to the heart. Because Hebrews 4 and 12 meant that the word of the Lord is quick and powerful and sharper than a two-edged sword. So that man might be able to fight with a physical sword, but when you bring a spiritual sword to him, he's getting cut up in 1,000 different ways. And he's like, man, how is this geezer? How comes I feel like this man that's standing before me, he's hurt me some way physically, yet he didn't even move his feet. All I've seen him do is reading from a book. All he was actually physically doing was reading from a book. But what has happened spiritually is that man's being hit with 1,000 slices, man. He's being hit with Parme's 5-point palm punch, man. Being twisted up, dusted off, sliced and diced, cut to ribbons, mate, by a man reading words out of a book and breaking down that person's whole spirit. Verse 28, and the basing of the world and the things which are despised have Yahweh chosen, yea, and the things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. So the mighty man thing again, man, like, it's got some worth to it, right? It's got some worth to be, because to be a mighty man, your body has to be healthy, right? For your body to be healthy is a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, for most of the people that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, their body's not going to be as healthy as it might have been in the past. And not because they're aged, but because something spiritual is happening to them, man. That their outward man's perishing, but their inward man is being renewed day by day. Right? It's not just a physical thing that's happening to them. It's a spiritual thing by where their body's being deteriorated to make space for the spiritual increase. Right? And they're just continually teetering on like their health being just good enough. That's the kind of way that it would be. Sometimes. Right? Hebrews chapter 4 verse 12, for the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So, well, verse 13, neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do. So when you start reading the words of the Bible to a guy, you can break down and see what his whole thing is, man. When people start hearing this word of the Lord, they'll start looking at how they've been living their life, and they start really feeling through, man. Anyone that's got any sense anyway, they'll start really looking at them like the elites, right? Couldn't step before the people that have got the true doctrine of the Bible and feel confident, man. They couldn't, because they'd know that everything that's being said about them is true. They'd smile in public. This is preposterous. Anyway, I'm going to my jet. They'd be real proud publicly, but privately they'd go home and cry. Privately they'd break down, man. Esau's real good at publicly showing pride, right? But when it comes to Salakia, when it comes to private, what he does in private, he's bugging out. Right? When it comes to private, he's going and like this demon Volker Malone, but when he's in front of brothers, or with his camera zooming in on this person, zooming in on that person. But when he goes home, the guy's under deep stress. And that's the only reason how you could explain a guy from America coming all the way over to London, not to know like Central Park where it's known where the location is. Like the place that he went, I don't even know where that is. You would have to use a hell of a lot of effort to find that place. You would have to use a hell of a lot of effort to find where that is. That would be like me or anyone else from the UK going over to somewhere in America that's not like some known place. It's not like by flipping Hollywood Boulevard. It's not like some known area, and just finding some like randomish kind of corner where someone is and finding it and being there in front of them. Like, you know how ridiculous that is? And then trying to make it like, what I think you're doing is a joke. If what you're doing is a joke, you guys are wicked. Well, it's wicked. You're looking at it very seriously, man. You're taking this whole thing very seriously for somebody that's so arrogant and proud, trying to make it like they don't think it's serious. You're taking a hell of a lot of time out of your day, getting all kind of different stamps on your passport to try and bother people, man. To try and bother people that don't even want to talk to you. And then you got your little minions coming all the way over there to talk about the virgin birth. All the things that you of all the things that you could have spoke to him about, man. Of all the different topics that you could have spoke about, you want to talk about a virgin birth? Did a man and a woman sleep with each other to make a baby be born? Because I can't perceive how that could be. The thing that made Yahweh Shai special was the spirit within him, not the process of his birth, dummies. It wasn't the process of his birth. The whole thing that makes what he did as not sinning on the earth, right, was that he went through the exact same process as every other man before him. That's what makes what he did so great. He didn't have it's not because he wasn't born from the seed of man. And then he was special. No, he was special because the spirit that was in him was created by Yahweh, which is the only spirit that Yahweh ever created, if you understand the Bible properly. Right? But you Christians don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about that, man. You've got the Jehovah's Witnesses that they understand that Yahweh created Yahweh Shai, but they don't call him that and use him to create everything else. They understand that. But then they're off with bare other things, man. They don't believe in predestination. Right? So they're lost. Which I don't understand how they could not believe in predestination if they understand that Yahweh Shai was born first before everything else. I don't get how they could not understand that. But anyway, let me read verse 12 again. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So it will break you down, man. So a mighty man can't try and compete with muscles against the word of the Lord. The word of the Lord defeats everyone on earth. Right? Lest any man should boast. And it was given to the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and given to the weak things of the world to confound the things that are mighty. And as it stands right now in this current realm, at this current time, the Israelite man is considered one of the weak things of the world in the fleshly way. But they're not one of the weak things of the world in the spiritual way. Now, we're not the weakest things of the world when it comes to like physically comparing us one-on-one. But if you look at what all the things that a nation should have to be considered capable of defending itself, the Israelites don't have that, man. They don't have no army. They don't have no control of a global industry or infrastructure or anything like that. They don't have it. They're so like when you have to the elder in Dallas, man. He always used to do a video series things where he say, "Oh, we're in the worst case scenario, right?" The Israelite nation, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are so far behind as a nation, right? That the only way how you cannot end up behind anymore is for World War III to break out. All the nations that was once upon a time friends with America turn against America and shoot ICBMs at it, right? And that then causes for Yahushua, who was at the right hand of Yahweh, to be told by Yahweh, okay, now is the time. This is the day of the Lord. You know the day of the Lord that I only know about? Yeah, this is the day of the Lord. This is it right now. Go and save your brothers and sisters. And the elect, go and save them. And then Yahushua comes from where he is on the right hand of Yahweh, returns to the earth that he was once on, enters into the earth with a shout, with chariots, UFOs, right? And begins to save the elect and destroy Israel at the same time. Now, that sounds like something from a movie. And you know what? It is from something from a movie, a real movie that's going to happen on earth. But that's how far behind we are as a nation, man. That those extreme circumstances have to happen in order for us to ever get back to any kind of place where we can get no respect. Because you ain't going to get no respect because you're an actor. Because you'll have some weird dweeb come up to you when you're an actor and try and tell you to take a photo this way and a photo that way and try and tell you how to pose when you're doing a photo for him. If you're a fighter, they're going to try and tell you to pose how they want you to pose. You'll be eating your food and they're going to come over. Hey, can I have a picture? And you might say, nah, not right now. I'm never watching your fights again. They're just not going to respect that you don't want them breathing all over your food, hovering over them. They're going to want you to take a picture of them all the time, even when you don't want to. Right? You ain't going to get no praise for that. You ain't going to be respected because of that kind of stuff, man. That don't mean nothing, really. So the mighty man thing's okay. Right? The mighty man thing's okay. It's cool. You're strong and all of that. But that's not what's going to make you escape the day of the Lord's wrath, man. Now, I don't understand how much more simple I can make. Like a mighty man, what's a mighty man? Right? A guy that can fight a bit, right? Or can fight a lot. All right. Well, what do you think is going to happen when all hell breaks loose in this scenario here, where people start looking around their local area and they're like, okay, so this guy here, he don't really talk to people too much, but he's a strong-looking guy, so we all need to team up together and take him out. That's the kind of thoughts that are going to be in these people's minds. They're not going to be thinking just leave him. No, they're going to be the fear that they have for that mighty man is going to make them team up against him. And then let's say he does take them out or whatever, he fights them and he defeats them when they try and jump him. All right, how often is he going to be able to do that for? How long is that going to last? Because he's going to have to do it every single, he's going to have to do it every single time. Can he? Can he do it every single time? Because if he can't, it's over. So it's better to believe in the Lord, man, because the Lord's going to allow the elect to win all the times that matter in order for them to get on the chariot. Right? Because we ain't been winning all the time as people that believe in Yahweh Shem Shine now. We've been catching L's, going through all kind of stuff, man. All kind of things that the people that believe in Yahweh go through. 2 Ezra chapter 15, and that's why it's going to be such a big shock when they win. 2 Ezra chapter 15, because people made no account of their labors and thought that their life was going to be a joke. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. This includes you, mighty men. Right? For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. That's going to include mighty men. That's going to include, like, all the people that are considered mighty men as well. They have a schedule, man. The soldiers, they have a schedule. They have a routine, man, how they do things to get that. In order to truly get strong, you need a routine, man. Floyd Mayweather had a routine, really. He wake up in a certain time, he does his jog and all that, right? He got a certain amount of calories that he's got to make it each day. When you look at these world's strongest men competitors, they need like 3 hour windows where they're not having to do anything just to eat, to consume what the calories that they need to eat, man. 10,000 calories a day. That's that's almost sometimes like what 4 days worth of food that some normal regular person will be eating, man. But they're eating that in one day. They're eating like 4 days worth of food in a day. You know how hard it is to even eat 10,000 calories in a day? That's difficult, man. That's like probably 6 hours out of the day, 6, 7 hours out of the day that you're spending just on eating. When you finish the meal, right? You gotta sleep now because you're so tired. Your body's gotta turn off and sleep in order for it to process all the food that you've just consumed, man. But those men are gonna be scared. Some of those world's strongest men guys, they might fight spar with a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy that weighs like 200 pounds less than them because them guys are big. They weigh like 400 pounds some of the time. So that them fighting a guy weighs 200 less is like a 210, 220 pound guy, which is normally quite a bit bigger than the average man, depending on if they're trained or not anyway. But then they end up getting whooped. But here's the thing: when Yahweh gives the men of the elect power, the men of the elect are going to be whooping people spiritually, man. They might just be able to make people's body just bend up, man. Just bend up their body into a certain shape without even touching them, man. With just their mind, just make the person's joints start twisting in opposite directions, man. A lot of things are going to be going down. A lot's going to be going down, man. But I'm going to read verse 19 and I'm going to end the video. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Now, for all you roadmans, man, you gangster guys, you think you're gangsters and all that, just wait, man. Because Yahweh's got something prepared for you kind of guys, man. Because right now, a lot of you guys think you're tough. Because when you're trying to be on bad things and all that with people, right, they're just trying to worry about going to work. They're trying to worry about paying their mortgage. They're trying to worry about paying their rent. They're worried about taking their kids to school the next day. They're worried about like their 5-year plan. They're worried about some other worldly things where you're thinking of worldly things as well, getting the bag or whatever, but they're thinking of getting the bag too, just in a worldly way, like a slower way. And you're thinking of getting the bag fast money. But y'all are both on the same thing, but their method to getting it requires not breaking the law and not being hyper violent. Whereas your way might require breaking the law and being hyper violent, right? But when all hell breaks loose, everyone's gonna change from that mindset and everyone's gonna be on the hyper violent thing. And one thing a lot of the time with these roadmans and all that, they don't even train, man. They don't train. They don't train combat, right? The average man that walking on the street trains combat and has had more fights potentially, or has had more put more training in physical training than the average roadman. They got a better diet. The average roadman on a Dixie's, super malt, tonic wine, you know? What else, man? What else? What else, bruv? Crunchy Nut Cheerios, Honey Nut Kellogg's Cornflakes, Frosties, Cocoa Pops, right? What else? Macaroni and cheese, yeah. Mom's chicken stew, which hey, that's good food, right? But it's damn bullshit, mate. So when all hell breaks loose, a lot of them guys are gonna find out that they're not even as strong as they thought they were, man. And just some random kid's dad, he's gonna dust them off, man. Watch. Some random dad, right? That might be that normally was just going to a school run with shorts and sandals and sandals with no socks or sandals with socks, right? But he goes gym a little bit. He's gonna mash up one of these roadmen, man. Just start roughing them up, man. Punch them up, punch their face off. That's some of the things that's gonna be happening, man. That random dad, that dad with a fat belly. Some of those dads with a fat belly are gonna punch up some of these roadmen. They'll be like, yo, fam, fam. Some of them roadmans that talk all that yo, fam stuff, they only weigh about 120 pounds. There's some of them are margared off, man. Which, like I said, again, it ain't about the mighty man thing anyway. But Yahweh's gonna really, really show men that just like how Yahweh's gonna show women that your physical beauty don't matter, right? He's going to show men that your might don't matter neither. That your money don't matter. And that your clout, your worldly accolades don't matter, man. Because men don't really understand that. Just like how women don't understand the beauty thing. Because right now, that wins, right? If you can get on a private jet, there's pictures of you with the honeys, you know? A picture here, a picture there, in this nightclub, in that nightclub, in this fancy restaurant, and there's women around you and all that, and the women are all fine. A guy like that ain't gonna be told right now, yeah, the way you're living is wicked. He's gonna be like, what? And the way you're living is righteous, and he's gonna try and look at your life. If he can find access to looking at your life, he's gonna look at it. If there's a video of you teaching, or there's a video of you in your house, and he looks at the background, he's gonna be like, that background looks dead. He ain't gonna be taking anything you say seriously. He's going to look at your clothes and be like, yo, what you're saying is dead to me. He ain't going to take it seriously. But the time's going to come where he's going to have no choice but to take it seriously, because his world's going to be over. And the world of the men of the Lord that they spoke of, he's going to be right there in front of people's face presently. Now, I said I was going to finish, but I'm going to end. I'm going to read this I'm going to read this scripture as well. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God, the will of Yahweh, abideth forever. Right? And that just shows how powerful the word of the Lord is, man. Because when this society is long gone, right? The men that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and have now been immortal for millions of years are still going to be immortals. And they're still going to be immortal for millions of years after that. Like the time that we're living in right now, when you consider the time that the elect and the nation of Israel in general are going to be going through, this has actually been a short time, man. And even if Yahweh was to, which I'm not saying he's going to, but even if Yahweh was to extend this captivity for 1,000 more years, it would still be a short time, man. This would still be a short time of what our nation's actually going through, man, considering we're going to be immortals one day. Shalom to the elect.